Was Jesus married? The mystery of Mary Magdalene. For centuries, people have wondered, was Jesus married? Could Mary Magdalene have been more than just a follower, perhaps even his wife? This question has fascinated historians, theologians, and everyday truth-seekers alike. Some believe Jesus remained celibate, fully devoted to his divine mission. Others point to ancient texts and hidden clues suggesting a different story, one that the early church may have kept secret. Could history be more mysterious than we were told? In this video, we dive deep into the hidden history, ancient writings, and modern theories surrounding Jesus and Mary Magdalene. No matter what you believe, this is a topic that challenges us to think, question, and explore. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe for more eye-opening content on spirituality, history, and the mysteries of life. And as you watch, share your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Jesus was married, or is it just a myth? Let's discuss. The question of whether Jesus was married, particularly to Mary Magdalene, has intrigued scholars, theologians, and believers for centuries. While the canonical Gospels do not explicitly mention Jesus having a wife, various historical texts, interpretations, and even popular culture have fueled speculation about his possible marriage. At the center of this debate stands Mary Magdalene, a deeply significant figure in the life of Jesus, whose role in early Christianity has been the subject of both reverence and controversy. Mary Magdalene appears frequently in the New Testament and is one of the most important women in the Gospels. She was present during Jesus' ministry, stood by him at the crucifixion, and was the first person to witness his resurrection. The Gospel of Luke describes her as a woman from whom Jesus had cast out 7 demons, a detail that has contributed to centuries of speculation about her past. Despite a common misconception that she was a former prostitute, there is no biblical evidence to support this claim. Instead, she is portrayed as a devoted disciple, a witness to key events in Jesus' life, and someone entrusted with the first message of his resurrection. The theory that Jesus and Mary Magdalene were married gained widespread attention through books like the Vinci Code, but the idea is not entirely new. Some apocryphal texts, such as the Gospel of Philip and the Gospel of Mary, suggest a unique closeness between Jesus and Mary. The Gospel of Philip refers to Mary Magdalene as the companion of Jesus, and even describes him kissing her, a detail that has led some to interpret their relationship as a marital one. However, scholars debate the meaning of the term companion, as it could simply imply a deep spiritual bond rather than a romantic or marital connection. Another significant text, the Gospel of Mary, presents Mary Magdalene as a key disciple who receives secret teachings from Jesus that the other apostles do not. This has led some to believe that she may have played a more influential role in the early Christian movement than traditionally recognized. However, since these texts were written long after Jesus' lifetime and were not included in the canonical Bible, mainstream Christian theology does not consider them as authoritative as the New Testament Gospels. The idea of Jesus being married also raises theological implications. For many believers, Jesus' celibacy is significant, as it aligns with his role as a divine figure who transcended earthly relationships. The early church emphasized Jesus' spiritual mission over personal relationships, reinforcing the image of him as unmarried. However, some scholars argue that, as a Jewish man living in first-century Palestine, it would have been unusual for Jesus to remain unmarried, as marriage was a common expectation in Jewish culture. Some suggest that if Jesus had been married, it might not have been explicitly mentioned because it was considered a normal part of life rather than something noteworthy. Despite the speculation, there is no definitive historical evidence that Jesus was married. The Gospels, which are the primary sources for Jesus' life, do not indicate that he had a wife. If Jesus had been married, it is likely that such an important detail would have been recorded. However, the absence of evidence does not necessarily mean he was not married. It simply means that we do not know for certain. The fascination with Jesus and Mary Magdalene's relationship reflects a broader interest in uncovering hidden or alternative narratives about Christianity's origins. Whether Jesus was married or not, Mary Magdalene's role in early Christianity remains significant. She was among Jesus' closest followers, a key witness to his resurrection, and an important figure in the spread of his teachings. Over time, her legacy has been both revered and misrepresented, yet she continues to be a symbol of faith, devotion, and mystery. While historical and religious debates about Jesus' marital status persist, what remains undeniable is the impact of his teachings and the central role Mary Magdalene played in his story. Whether as a disciple, a close companion, or even a possible spouse, her presence in Jesus' life remains one of the most intriguing aspects of Christian history. The belief that Jesus remained celibate has been the dominant view in mainstream Christianity for centuries. Most Christian denominations uphold the idea that Jesus, as the Son of God and the Messiah, was entirely devoted to his divine mission. His teachings emphasized love, service, and sacrifice, and many theologians argue that marriage would have been a distraction from his spiritual purpose. The Gospels, which serve as the primary source of information about Jesus' life, do not mention a wife, and this absence has been taken as evidence that he remained unmarried. Christian tradition often highlights Jesus as a figure who transcended earthly relationships in favor of his higher calling. Some interpretations suggest that his celibacy symbolized his complete dedication to God and his role as the spiritual bridegroom to the church, a metaphor used in Christian theology. Throughout history, religious leaders and scholars have reinforced this perspective, shaping the widespread belief that Jesus lived and died as a single man. However, despite this traditional view, there have always been alternative interpretations and theories suggesting a different narrative, one in which Jesus and Mary Magdalene shared a special relationship, possibly even marriage. These ideas, while not widely accepted in mainstream Christianity, have been fueled by historical discoveries, apocryphal texts, and even popular fiction. One of the most intriguing sources that hint at a deeper relationship between Jesus and Mary Magdalene comes from the Gnostic Gospels, a collection of early Christian writings that were not included in the Bible. Among them, the Gospel of Philip stands out for its references to Mary Magdalene. This text, discovered in the Nag Hammadi Library in 1945, refers to Mary as Jesus' companion and states that he loved her more than the disciples. Some passages suggest that Jesus kissed Mary Magdalene, leading to speculation that their relationship may have been romantic. However, the interpretation of these passages is highly debated. The word translated as companion in the Gospel of Philip could simply mean a close friend or spiritual partner rather than a spouse. Additionally, scholars argue that Gnostic texts often use symbolic language, making it difficult to determine whether these references should be taken literally. The idea of Jesus and Mary Magdalene being married gained massive popularity with the release of Dan Brown's novel, The Vinci Code. This fictional work, though based on some historical theories, suggests that Jesus and Mary Magdalene were not only married, but also had children, with their descendants continuing into modern times. The book presents the idea that the Church deliberately suppressed this information to maintain its authority. While the Vinci Code is a work of fiction, it reignited public interest in the possibility that traditional Christian teachings might have omitted or altered details about Jesus' life. Another theory, often called the lost gospel hypothesis, suggests that some early Christian texts were edited, censored, or even lost over time, removing any references to Jesus' marriage. Proponents of this theory argue that if Jesus had been married, later Christian leaders may have chosen to downplay or erase such details to emphasize his divine nature. Some researchers claim that fragments of lost writings or reinterpretations of existing texts could reveal a different understanding of Jesus' personal life. However, despite these claims, no definitive historical evidence has surfaced to confirm that Jesus was married. The debate over Jesus' relationship with Mary Magdalene continues to spark interest and controversy. Whether viewed as a devoted disciple, a trusted confidant, or even a possible wife, Mary Magdalene remains one of the most compelling figures in Christian history. Her role in Jesus' ministry, as well as her presence at the resurrection, gives her a unique status among his followers. Whether Jesus was married or celibate, what remains undeniable is the profound impact of his teachings and the enduring mystery surrounding his life. The question of whether Jesus was married goes beyond historical curiosity. It challenges long-standing religious traditions and invites us to see Jesus in a new light. If he had a wife, it would shift our understanding of his humanity, his relationships, and the expectations placed upon religious figures. It would also raise important questions about gender roles in Christianity and the early Church. For centuries, Christian teachings have emphasized Jesus' divine mission, often portraying him as detached from earthly concerns. However, if Jesus had a wife, it would present him not just as a spiritual teacher, but also as a man who experienced the deep bonds of human love and companionship. Such a discovery would also reshape the role of Mary Magdalene in Christian history. Rather than being remembered primarily as a devoted disciple, she might be seen as Jesus' partner in ministry, perhaps even someone who played a more significant role in shaping early Christianity. This could lead to new discussions about the involvement of women in religious leadership, a topic that has been debated for centuries. Despite the intrigue surrounding this question, there is no definitive historical evidence to confirm that Jesus was married. The Bible remains silent on the matter, and while some alternative texts suggest a close bond between Jesus and Mary Magdalene, none provide conclusive proof of a marriage. The absence of clear evidence means that this debate is likely to continue, fueled by both scholarly inquiry and popular imagination. Whether Jesus was married or not, one fact remains undeniable. Mary Magdalene was one of his most important followers. She stood by him during his crucifixion, was the first to witness his resurrection, and played a crucial role in spreading his teachings. Her legacy, though often misunderstood, continues to inspire people around the world. So what do you think? Could Jesus have been married, or is this just speculation? Let us know in the comments below.